But who else has a Pisces moon that's really important? It'd be Kendrick Lamar.
Interesting.
And here's something that's cool about that's only.
Let's suppose that you were able every night to dream any dream you wanted to dream.
How should I introduce you? Because I don't want to butcher it.
What do you introduce? Frederick is my artist name.
Okay, Frederick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Frederick.
Yeah.
I'll explain that too.
Mm-hmm.
And then just Lord Frederick Edgar Russell II was my name. Yeah.
Lord Frederick Edgar Russell the second.
Lord Frederick Edgar Russell II.
Lord Frederick Edgar Russell II. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously.
Yeah,
Simple. It's simple.
Super easy.
Yeah. How was that growing up?
Rolls off the tongue.
Did you write that out every time in elementary school? Like, when did it get like did you just write Lord Frederick, or did you just write Frederick on everything?
See, it advanced over time.
Okay, I figured there was some development.
I went
there.
by junior all the way up to 19 years old.
Okay, gotcha.
And then I went through a really rough time at that time, and then I changed my name. Moved 3,000 miles, changed my name to Rick. And then after that, because I always knew I had the name Frederick, and then I looked that up. I remember when I was 3 years old, I looked that up like in one of those like quote in like Hallmark Bible shops or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It said peaceful ruler, and I just hated the name. I was like, oh, that's too much responsibility. What am I rolling? I don't want to do anything like that. So I just went by junior till the age of 19 because it was given to me by a teacher. And then I went by my Rick phase, but then I became like a really bad, I got really hyped on my own stuff. I started getting like
Rick had a little bit of an ego problem.
Really bad. And you know what? Rick means power, so I could even it amplifies it. And then that's the thing is I started getting onto my first demo, and I started getting like record deals in LA and all that kind of stuff happening. Yeah, because that's back when I first released stuff. So it's just hyping my own self up.
And how old were you at this point? 24,
23.
Yeah,
I think, yeah. Okay. Around that time, 22, 23.
Gotcha.
And then I went by the name Frederick. Whenever I came back after I died, I was just like, because I had a near-death experience in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
After that, I went by my actual name, Frederick.
Okay.
And then the Lord title just kind of happened just because I bought a Highland title. And when I found out I'm a Leo, that I'm not a Virgo, due to David Hawthorne's systematic approach to astrology,
right,
I decided to go by Lord Frederick. And that's actually why my artist name is Frederick. And you break down numerology of my name, I have more luck going with 7 letters, which is Frederick. So Freyer means Lord.
Uh-huh.
Frederick is my name, so it's Lord combined with Frederick, all in one name.
Okay, so lots to unpack there. We'll go. I want to go from Rick to the music. Like, where does the music start? Because obviously, very comfortable with who you are and like how you've come to that. It's super cool. And I just want to fill in the gaps for the people that are like new here, like getting a better understanding of like this evolution. So was it music kind of triggered, or I know the near-death experience kind of caused the full name change, but like when did you start thinking like this is, I'm not junior anymore, I guess would be the best way to put it. Take me there.
I was in a really heavy relationship, and then what kind of disbanded our relationship was me pursuing music.
Okay.
So that's when I knew I had to evolve as a person, because Junior was stuck doing music. That's why I took the monkey, like the alias Insight with 2 T's, because I was actually trying to look for Insight, but that was taken. Mm-hmm. So then I chose Insight, and I chose the 2 T's. But I decided to change my name from then because it's not 7 letters.
And it's the music name?
7. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the thing is, as well, is it doesn't align with my current belief system. There's basically like a response. It's like a biblical response for someone in like my ethnicity of To Pimp a Butterfly. It's kind of like a love poem back to Pimp a Butterfly, because that is like one of the first pieces of art that inspired me to sonically record something experimental.
Okay.
So that's kind of where, but that doesn't stem with who I am now.
Gotcha.
Since then, I've completely fundamentally changed myself.
And then what was it about music at that time that obviously drew you back now? Like, or not now, but, in the last, again, through this involvement, I would say, do you think it was?
The past 2 years, I moved to Gainesville. I moved to Gainesville originally from Montana,
mm-hmm.
because I was actually going to go to Nashville. Then I made a switch shift decision to kind of do that. I was working with Grayscaler and Drill and Spoons. I used to go by Dandelion Doldrums at the time out in Gainesville. Really dope producers. But that's the one thing I got with David Rodriguez for my first project. because I can't produce. I never learned anything about production. I never learned anything about compression, EQing, mastering, all that stuff. Now I do all that stuff in-house in my own production with the tools of using really unique AI tools to carve out the sounds I'm looking for, and just kind of have like a whole crew of production with the backbone of AI helping me.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, it's definitely we'll see a lot more people head that direction. So it sounds like you have a pretty early start on it. Now, I am curious. Describe your music for the audience.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I always trying to compare and contrast as an artist. So right now I'm working on something that's more like rock, opera, EDM vibe. But then I'm working on an album that will be released sometime this November, hopefully. Fingers crossed. And it's going to be like basically a 10-year anniversary to Trilogy. Obviously, that's way different than like a rock opera vibe. But every
10-year anniversary to what?
Trilogy. My favorite albums.
Okay. Gotcha.
It's kind of like if he did a Redux. You can't do that now. It's too big. But like something with that dark ambient, like vampiric vibe. Something about that. Like some people say it's like a haunted horror, like strip club music type of vibe. And I no one's making sounds like that anymore. I kind of want to revisit my own interpretation of that. It wouldn't be like, obviously it wouldn't be anything like that, because whenever I try to make something in the studio like something, it ends up not being that at all.
Yeah, so, like you're not going to the Halloween Horror Night strip club with it.
No, but we'll see where we go, you know? Like, see, that doesn't sound too bad. Yeah. But the thing is as well, it's like every element. See, that's water versus fire. So I'm starting with a fire element, and it all has to do with the initiation process of like old like secret occults over time. And they used to make you go through a process of fire, water, wind, then earth, and it goes and materializes things. Okay. So from spirit, things materialize out. Okay. And then I also thrown in the fifth element, which has been ignored most of our life. But in 2012, we realized that there was a fifth element that exists scientifically, and that's dark matter energy.
And you're incorporating this into your sound.
Yeah. Every song is sorry, get ahead of myself. Every song is a tarot card. Okay. So my life goal is to make 176 songs. All of those are going to be a tarot card, all with a music video, all with augmented reality like choices. But the thing is, when I make a song, and let's say you are that sign. Let's say, for example, let's say you have a moon in Pisces like you do. Okay. So for you, I may interpret it in my own way what a moon in Pisces may sound like. But you being a moon in Pisces, you would download this card or this song. You'd scan it on a QR code, and then that connects to Web3 blockchain technology. And what that does from there is you can actually edit. Everything I do in the studio is free form. I own all the stems. That's something that you'll never get with another music artist or label, because they own their stems and not sharing it. I'm letting people that own the music. You own a piece of my music that I create, so you can create it in any way you want. And I'm giving people the tools to remix it based on how they feel about that sign, or how they feel about that way that genre feels to them. They could totally change the genre in general.
And what would a change in the genre be? So are you talking specifically about like what you just laid out for me? Like, would they change it to a different combination of that, or would they change it based on like emotion? Like, what do you like? I guess, what do you change? How are you? You change it. How do you change it? Though you use the plugins, or like you use the technology?
No. I use the plugins.
Right, but
I kind of make it easier.
You'll insert what you want to do.
Let's say you want the drums. It's so similar to the Donda stem player that Kanye West like ripped off a bunch of people with. Okay, because like he didn't even finish Donda 2. Yeah. Look at the camera. He didn't even finish Donda 2. Yeah, and he bragged about how much money he made. What the fuck? What is up with that? That's the thing that really
goes barefoot in public. So it's
not integrity as an artist. Yeah. It's not integrity as a person that wants to consume his stuff. It's totally missed the boat with that. Yeah. So what this does is very similar to what that does. Like if you ever had that stem player, it basically you could fast forward like vocals or fast forward the drums, change the BPM.
Gotcha. So it makes it sound different because maybe you want something more upbeat. But what's necessarily in line with your sign is like more mellow, or that's initially out there. Too. It's slowed down.
Reverse it. Gotcha. Reverse some drums. Change. You change the levels.
But the notes would be the same based on your like,
notes
sign?
would be the same. However, you could change it to. We'll get even more advanced over time. We can change those notes to a different instrument eventually.
But you
My
want to
goal is
keep
to
it
get
around
people-
the same, like like each person's like unique, like that kind of.
Well, I make the template, and then if you own it, you can change it any way you like.
Yeah.
And my goal is to give people that type of template and things to work with.
Mhm.
That way they can carve and use as a paintbrush for their own stuff.
Yeah.
And my goal is everybody has a deck, 176 cards of their own tarot card where they can read for people.
Yeah.
And then they are their own DJ. They're
Right.
their own boiler room sets.
Yeah.
They could just literally run a reading,
Mhm.
and then that becomes whatever they customize each card to be. It's going to be way different reading. That's like the whole, I guess, multiplayer aspect, or like, the whole I bring out my deck, you bring out your deck type of thing, where we listen to each other's mixes live. Like,
it kind of brings back that old like swapping tapes like element.
Exactly.
Yeah, which I think could be cool. Now, who do you see buying this? Who do you see investing in this? Like, I know you're getting ready to go on tour abroad. I don't know if that's any connect. I know you're on a few events connected to the app, but like, who are you trying to attract with this?
Right now, I'm currently trying to attract the Viking community, because we have a certain idealism of like what a Viking artist is. I'm a Viking artist, but I don't do metal.
Okay.
It's like I think me and Bjork are like the only ones.
Is there any other mainstream Viking artists?
Bjork, right?
Okay.
That's about it. She's funky, right?
Gotcha.
But the thing is, like, mine's more Norman related. But that's the thing as well. When it comes to that, what I'm trying to attract is anybody that's not into tech right now, because I'm already going to hit every huge tech conference this year.
Right.
What I'm not going to do is I'm doing outreach for the York Festival. Is kind of, hey, these are people that never really even thought of augmented reality or virtual reality,
Right.
but knock knock, Apple's coming. So guess what?
Yeah.
Here we are. Welcome to the future. It's 2024. This is we're on a new frontier of music with augmented reality music.
So, like, do you think like people,
Vikings were on
if you're
that
somebody
way.
who consistently goes to festivals, you'd probably like something like this? I'm just trying to put it in 2023, like 2024, like, public market. Yes, the people in tech will be interested, but it's going to sell to people who actually get an emotion out of this. And some tech guys are just, they like that it makes money. They don't really give a shit what it does. And that's just, reality. But there's people out there that could definitely see
there's some innovators and forward thinkers in tech that kind of are futurists.
Yeah.
So that it was who I would market with this, because there's longevity 17 years down the line.
Yeah.
And then the thing is as well, just trying to change the whole idealization of Viking market, or where the marketplace is for that.
Okay.
That's why it's kind of like more pop end.
Gotcha.
And then I'm trying to think of, another target audience I'm trying to get as well as that vampire community.
Okay.
Trying to get that.
When you said Vikings, I wondered if the vampires were involved. I was like,
Vampires
Those are
are
my first
involved, but that's for that
thought.
album. Right
Okay.
now, I'm going on a couple Viking like places set to do that, and then when I go my second wave this year, that's when I'm focused on my album.
okay.
Right now, I'm just trying to promote the single, which is King of Wands.
Okay. Is that out right now?
No, it's not.
Okay.
I was just editing it literally right before
Okay,
I walked.
I think, yeah.
I got here.
You're good.
Just actually the interface I use.
Yeah.
Anyways, the thing is
Stole his whole studio for the podcast, but that's what we do.
it is what it is. It makes it magic.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what the last community I'm trying to reach out to.
Yeah. Vikings, vampires,
Like, just start with V. But it's tarot community.
base heads. No.
Tarot, well, yeah, a little bit. Because apparently the last epic of my song, it's a 17-minute song. The last frame of it is like some bass head stuff I heard.
Why only 17 minutes?
Well, I know, right? Well, my goal is I'm releasing this one to the public for free.
Yeah.
Versus everything else has to be downloaded through my app.
Okay.
Especially,
That's
like,
fair.
Yeah, so this is like, I'd rather give someone a full spread of things to work with, and they can sample it and change whatever they want from it once they own it.
Yeah.
Cool. That's like, and then 17 minutes. It's like, the reason I made 17 minutes is because eventually these these face cards are going to be interpreted with two things. In-world AI. So when you get a face card, you can actually ask in your reading, what does this reading mean? And then the AI on that card that learns everything from the lyrics and is attached to 31 Norse gods, also based on 31 new chakras of the moon. So they ask that AI, like, what does this reading mean? And it's like a whole meta, like where the card can actually talk to you, communicate like ChatGPT style.
Nice.
And then each of those face cards are actually a vinyl side. So 17 minutes is exactly one half of a vinyl side. So I want to make those vinyls and AI incorporated kind of simultaneous. Also, that I just remembered the third community before I was stalling a million times.
Yeah.
Is actually the tarot community.
Yeah.
Because they're not into tech.
But are they
for
they're
obvious
into music,
reasons.
though?
Like,
They're into music, right?
yeah, they're into music, but what music, right? What music's tarot music? Every music. There's 22 different genres.
Well, you just kind of created
There's
it.
5 different elements. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Because they're probably stuck between like house and like Viking and like all different kinds of like metal and like I don't know. That's would be my theory on it. So they're like they don't know what kind of music they really like. This though,
every elements.
The stars already told them. So
yeah, well,
like,
I tried to take a genre based on the element, and then also being upright and reversed. There's different planets, so I based on each planet being its own genre, and then each card kind of being its subgenre into that genre.
Cool.
So that's like my vision. I have it all mapped out at home. I've been doing this for years. I've been working on this like alone since 2018.
Yeah.
So I've been conceptualizing it nonstop. Also, what I should, if you don't mind me taking a minute or two, I feel like I'm just Leoing out right now. But
it's your episode.
Okay. So what is different about this astrology system than any other astrology system?
And you, let me preface this. You studied this in college, right? Correct? Or you studied a form of it?
No, I learned from David Hawthorne, systematic approach.
Gotcha.
But based on my rising sign, which is in Pisces, makes me a really good astrologist.
But you didn't study astrology. You studied it with
in India.
In India. Okay, you went. Okay, so where? Yeah, let me just let's preface that. Like, where did the
Vedic?
Okay, so
Vedic systematic approach taught by David Hawthorne at astroviews.com.
And you got into this when?
I think I got my license when during COVID.
Okay, so like 20.
I didn't go to India.
2020, you started to see the real potential with like, okay, this is a big interest of mine, and you know.
Yeah, but it wasn't until this last year, 2023, where I actually worked with AI, and I worked with the International Astronomy Association hand in hand to re-coordinate the missing elements. Because Vedic astrology is correct. Actually, based on your chart, it's mostly Vedic astrology from India. It wouldn't be that far off from that, to tell you the truth. But I re-coordinated the systems based on the ecliptic scale. So what the ecliptic scale is, about to get really sciencey.
Okay.
But ecliptic scale is like where the path, Earth is always tilting in a 23-degree rotation. Okay. So this is where the Earth is moving on throughout these constellations. Well, I found it really unique that we have 30 degrees spread even for all these signs. But if you look at the ecliptic scale, we're only in Scorpio for 2 weeks. We're only in Scorpio for like 9 degrees. We're only in Capricorn for 14 degrees. Why are they full 30 degrees? Drove me insane. That's why Neil deGrasse Tyson makes fun of us. Like, astrology is fake. But yeah, it is fake, even at a Vedic level, because it's not scientifically accurate. What I did is I re-coordinated it to be actually astronomically accurate based on where we are, and we're made out of stardust. It's the only thing that if an AI was to recreate synthetic humans, which may be a possibility 40 years from now, not worried about robotics. I'm worried about AIs actually using synthetic intelligence maybe one day. The only thing they can't replicate that's part of all the chemical compounds and hormones and how we could test tube babies is stardust, because we actually have stardust uniquely part of our DNA. That's why I think it has a correlated link scientifically on a quantum realm with astrology. That's why I take it so serious.
Do you think that is why we would be able to tell so quickly an AI generated person versus a real person? Like, do you think there's like that sort of like energy that it would give off, that they're actually made like from stardust and not like AI generated? I don't want to call it robotic, because they're going to make them, like you just said, like it's going to be like synthetic almost. Yeah. But they'll have skin, you know, like if we're really putting it out there. Like, but I feel like you would still, wouldn't you still get like a vibe off of them that this person's not like, I don't know.
Well, here's the thing: when you get technology involved with synthetic like people and parts, is it can make us better. It could synthetically take out. I mean, there's already teenage.
But would we be able to tell which one, like who's like a born from stardust human and who's a robotic one, or who's a synthetically modified, genetically modified human?
Just this recent South by Amy Webb. Sorry, Amy Webb actually was talking about the trend of synthetic intelligence of them. You know, pretty much test tube babies. We already live in a time right now where they're almost adults. They're young teenagers that have been chromosomes edited by a computer. So what happens if we get that was just a computer, right? And that was and
But
then
the
they're
matter
teenagers.
of them is still human.
Yeah.
Okay, but then they
take out
took the
cancer
genes.
cells, take out genes that would like make
So
you.
That's really cool. About
Whatever.
not kind of off topic, but my sister, when she went to college, she graduated, and that's what she was focused on doing was genetic counseling. So they would be able to, people could pay them a fuckload of money.
It's a Black Mirror episode, but yeah.
Yeah, and they would do exactly what you just said.
That's the future.
And then she would be the
unfortunately,
girl that has to go out and tell the parents, hey, so there's like an 80% chance your kid's going to have cerebral palsy. Here's how you can like financially afford it and go about doing things. And it's, or we could do option B, which is we genetically modify your child's DNA.
Yeah.
And sorry if that's wrong. I'm not putting her on blast. She's not in the industry anymore. But pretty sure that's the concept.
Well, yeah, when we get technology and tech gets more involved in that.
Yeah.
And then AI gets more of a handle on tech.
I
Well, who's
agree.
to say that AI can't go rampant and grow humans?
Yeah.
And it say 40 years from now, like we're so worried about cyborgs. That's real fear. And while we're on that note, not to segue back to my stuff, but basically, I take these concepts of AI, synthetic intelligence, like lab grown AI built humans with real humanity into what I call the modern Edda. I reshaped all the poetic Edda, the prose Edda, into I was like, why is there no modern Viking tales? I take everything from the essence of original Viking lore I've studied for years and reinterpolate that through the cards as a story. Every album is like a story, different part of the story. Eventually, the whole panorama will be seen. And I take these stories in Norse god culture and I make them kind of more grounded individuals or archetypes, kind of reshape archetypes to be these 31 Norse gods, but they're all this different types of what we like scientifically think of what a god is. So I take those stories and I to make it modern. So when you think of Viking, you're like, oh yeah, Snorfest, another fucking thing with Odin. Like,
but how does this look in 2024? Is like what you're doing. Now,
and we're back. And before I get into your chart reading, I do want to preference. I was talking a lot about synthetic intelligence and AI and stuff like that. What these tarot cards and what the objective is, I think it's my life mission, is to raise, I'm going to probably coin the term now, but OI. So organic intelligence. So there's a scientist named Pete Sanders Jr. that used to be in MIT in the 80s. He noticed that we have 4 other senses than the 5 that were given.
What are the 4 other senses? Are they dope?
Clairaudience, clairvoyance, aura seeing. I can't do that one. But I know this all sounds very far-fetched, but this is actually like in textbooks in MIT. Yeah. Pete Sanders Jr. So that's what I try to do with tarot cards, get people, if you raise someone's organic intelligence and intuition, I think that that's our advantage to something that is like AI. Because it doesn't have biological senses of some. I feel something's off. It can't feel something. So we can.
I wanted to ask you this question now just because it comes up. Do you think there's more... you think people should put more importance on knowing their instincts and things like this, why they are the way they are? Or sorry, would you agree that people put too much importance on knowing things that are borderline useless to them in their involvement and not enough time on why they're here, how they're here, and how that could help impact their decisions? Like, personally, when I started taking a spiritual journey for sake, it was more to get more confidence in my decisions. Then everything I started interpreting as a sign, I became aware, and I just started listening, and things started to work out. And it's like, it's such a hard thing to like prescribe to people, but it's literally what I did. And it's like a lot of what we're talking about here, it took studying and like just taking an interest in some of that to help me along the way. But so I was just kind of curious.
You put air quotes around it, but what is having a spirit? What is all right, so do this exercise real quick on the podcast. Say your favorite color as loud as you can in your head.
Okay. Yeah.
Everybody at home do it too.
I've heard this trick, and you're 100% right. I didn't mean to
Where does that come from? That's your consciousness. That exceeds time.
Yeah.
So it's your consciousness observes memories. That's how we can remember memories in detail.
Yeah.
Where does that come from? It's being channeled from somewhere other place. Yeah. And once we focus that type of energy into either objects or your actual surroundings to the present. Wim Hof is a good example of that. He does shamanic breathing, kind of just being in your body, breath work. That's really important. And but I think knowing yourself and knowing where these energies lie and your strengths and your weaknesses is just kind of looking in the mirror, is being like, oh, it's kind of looking in the mirror for the first time of your soul. It's like your soul's blueprint. Be like, oh, this is why I'm the way I am. There's nothing's wrong with me. I'm just engineered differently, and everybody's engineered a certain way for their own reasons.
Well, the reason I love this is because a common problem I get from people just in the DMs or just casually I hear them talking about is like, oh, I'm so misunderstood. It's like, where do you think that comes from? It's like, because you haven't taken a 2-hour walk on the beach to figure out who the fuck you are.
Some people need more than that.
You know what I mean? Like, you need more than that, but I mean, like, I hear all these people say they're misunderstood. I think they don't understand themselves, and that's creating the feeling of like people don't get it. I think they're out of alignment.
Exactly. I'm glad you said out of alignment.
Yeah.
Because most people that look up their astrology, they follow Western chart. But Western, why we still follow is 2024.
And explain this for me. I think this is important. So, in
2024, here we are now. Why are we listening to pre-Galileo? They thought the Earth was the center of the universe. Obviously, the sun.
And this is in reference to Western astrology.
Western astrology is incorrect, and it was actually.
And that, for those watching, that's your horoscope. That's all. If you think you're a Sagittarius, you're probably not. If you think you're a Capricorn, you might not be. And just catching everybody up, that's the Western way of thinking. And then this is.
Well, Vedic's actually correct too.
And
Vedic's been around since before that too. It just got ignored popular-wise. Now there's over 800, 900 professional astrologers that are legit. They use a systematic approach to Vedic astrology, and that is correct. This is just a little bit more accurate. I don't discredit that. But however, Western chart is discredited because you got to be dumb. And I get so frustrated. People follow their co-star and just literally grinds my gears. All right, so Western chart is based on the Earth being flat. All right, if you're a flat earther, follow Western chart. There you go. Done. I'm not trying to change you. Western chart is flat Earth, right? So think Greek in the Odyssey times, they thought the Earth was flat, and then they actually took out 3 elements. It was ancient Babylonia, ancient Mesopotamia. Astrology is where it all comes from. The Sumerians, all that type of stuff. It's kind of like the stuff written on my knuckles. But basically, all that is gone. It's not accurate based on the 23-degree tilt that we know the Earth tilts on. They knew that back then. The Earth tilts on an axis. But the Greeks, they didn't think that the Earth tilted on an axis, thought it was flat. So the English take the same from the Greeks. That's why it still has that Greek names for the astrology signs. And that's flat Earth astrology, pretty much. No 23-degree tilt. So Vedic astrology is 23 degrees backwards based on the actual Earth tilt.
Okay.
That's why if you're following co-star are coming for your throat.
And why does that affect the sign?
Why does it affect? Because you're out of alignment. It's literally what you said. Some people, I thought my whole life, I even have a tattoo. So I feel empathy for the people that got like, oh, I'm a Scorpio tattoo. And you're actually a Libra. That's why you're cutthroat.
Brutal.
Scorpios are actually too emotional to be cutthroat. Or
we know a guy who can redo it, so don't stress.
Oh, yeah. Hey, shout out to Enclave's tattoo.
That's
shout out to Colin Jordan.
Colin Jordan.
Tag you up.
Yeah.
Then he knows what I'm talking about too, to a degree. No, there's a pun there. Anyways, back to your chart because I'm getting
1 second
off base.
Yep. I don't know why it did that, but
it's okay. Let me know when we're
good.
Back to it. All right. So your chart specifically,
Mm-hmm.
What have you been told your whole life? What star sign were you told you were?
Sagittarius.
All right. Well, you know what? That's semi-accurate for you because I just did your chart now, and I thought you're Ophiuchus. You're not. Ophiuchus, it's if you think that you're Scorpio, you're probably Ophiuchus because Scorpio only in there for 2 weeks. Now, Sagittarius is what your sign is, and you're heavy Sagittarius, man. You got two signs Sagittarius, so is that really heavy? So how people perceive you and how you perceive yourself is exactly the same because your rising sign and your sun sign are both in Sagittarius. So you see yourself as a philosopher. People see that you're a philosopher and someone that is spiritual but not too spiritual. You kind of got like you have a foot in. You could feel intuition, you could feel the spiritualism around you. You understand it now, but that's about it. I mean, that's kind of how you naturally move. All your life you kind of naturally move this way, and it's also about different cultures. And you like to travel to different cultures. Shout out to Guatemala, right? Yeah. You like to go to different cultures and observe and try to absorb what you can, but never too long in one culture or one time period. And that's just something that is about your ego and it's something about how you move as your rising sign is how you move. It's how people like see your first impression with people. So that goes hand in hand for you, by the way.
The thing that gave me chills was I see myself how people perceive me, because it was like the only gap was some days and periods of time I really believed it, and I still go through this, and some days and periods of time I'm like, why am I getting all this like attention? Why do people want to talk to me? Like, I'm not really worthy of it. So it's like, it's very interesting that you touched on it, because there's definitely periods where like, and like now I'm in a season of that for sure, but like my ups and downs really come when like that doesn't really stop. People still know I can connect them, or like I'm always willing to help them, but and like they'll praise you for it, but I don't feel like I'm necessarily doing anything. Like I'll think like, yeah, but you think I've been working the last 3 months and like it's been the laziest time of the year. Not saying that now, just going back to casual time. So it's very interesting. Sometimes like I see that gap, but most of the time it's like you just said. I kind of like, it gives me I don't know, it keeps the confidence like flowing, I guess.
Well, here's the thing: there is the sun always shining?
Yeah. In my world.
In your world, yeah, but the sun's not always shining, right?
Right.
So that comes from your moon sign. How you feel. You mentioned I feel statements, right?
Yeah.
Feeling is the moon sign. So sun signs, how you see yourself, it's your ego. But removed from your ego is when the sun goes down, right? Who are you when you're at home?
Yeah.
And that's your Pisces.
Right.
Wow, you got some Pisces. You got double the amount of Pisces as you do Sagittarius. But both of those are actually ruled by the same planet, which is Jupiter. So it's amazing. So when it comes to a Pisces moon, you know, my dad actually had the same combo, the sun and the moon.
Oh, that's interesting.
So it's one of those things that he used to cry hearing the Star Spangled Banner. Like something that'd be like, what? Okay, all right, bro, that's something I hear every day. It's just something that can move you. It may not move anyone else, but it'll just straight, direct, shot through the heart type of stuff will affect you differently. You have a different sensitivity. Pisces is sensitivity. You have a different sensitivity to how you feel about things. And what you should also look out for is your Saturn. Your Saturn's in Pisces as well. So sometimes your emotions could be negative for you, and you feel them really. When you go through lows, you go through really bad lows. You go through really rough lows that a lot of people won't even understand because they don't feel like a Pisces does. Pisces feel everything. That's why it's like the Jesus sign. It feels so much and it cares for others, and you'll take on other people's emotional baggage as well. Even though you're a clean slate, you just take on other people's stuff, and that's how you feel about things. And that's also your weakness in life is, and it may be, just look out for is maybe look out for addictions too, or being caught in escapism. So that's also something that is Saturn and Pisces. I've seen this with Saturn and Pisces. If you got a Saturn and Pisces, don't be afraid to reach out for help, because I've seen people with Saturn and Pisces, they get lost into drugs when they're like 30 or 40 years old. You obviously understand yourself well enough that I never seen that in you, but that is a pre-warning. Just thought I'd shout that out. I've seen that so many people's charts where they have some tragic backstory where that would happen. That's what happens in a Saturn return. That's what we call it 27 Club, by the way. So I'm going to keep an eye on you when you hit 27. No white lighters for you.
Dude, my idol growing up was Mac Miller.
Wow.
Anyway, go on. Ignore that.
No, you feel it, bro.
Yeah,
no, it's
right?
dope.
It's real.
No, it's real.
Yeah.
You have a connection with that. I think he probably had some Pisces too. And you know what? Who else has a Pisces moon? It's really important.
But who else has a Pisces moon that's really important? It'd be Kendrick Lamar.
Interesting.
And here's something that's cool about that's only a Pisces moon thing. Justin Vernon also has it too. I have a bunch of Bon Iver tattoos. I love that guy. So he calls it his antennas, because I've seen a couple of interviews with Dana Wise, and he has this antennas. You'll sometimes, like, if you get really in tune with your stuff as much as he is, because he's pretty much talks about meditation like every lyric, right? So if you will get so in tune, you can actually you'll know when someone dreams about you, or someone will dream about you, and you'll give them a call that day. It'd be like, I know about your dream about me and stuff like that. That's called the antennas. It's a Pisces moon thing.
And that's what
he puts
it
in
happens
lyrics.
it happens all the time.
Yeah,
there's a girl, there's a couple, like, not to get too personal, there's like a few girls like just randomly that I've crossed paths with that happens, right? Like they'll either randomly text me and it'll be like they showed up in a dream and I have no idea why.
It's the antennas,
and
man.
it's like they text you the next day. very bizarre.
It's antennas. You should listen to some Kendrick Lamar. He talks about antennas.
I should. I listened to some of it. I gotta shout out Luke. He always tries to put me on, but yeah. I gotcha. That's interesting. Pisces moon causes that.
Yeah.
Makes
so
sense.
it gets even further.
Okay.
So what is different about the sun and the moon? What's the Mercury, right? Mercury travels around the sun.
Mhm.
Well, the way your ego is, it's separate than the way you think and the way you talk to others. The way you talk to others and the way you think is a traditionalist. You think more like a capitalist and you talk more like a capitalist type of. I just say capitalist as an example because America is actually the sign of Capricorn. Traditionalism, kind of think like old man energy. That's how you speak to others and that's how you think in your mind.
My tweet today was another great day to be a capitalist.
Yeah. Wow. Capricorn capitalist. That's why I correlate the two. But that is how you think, and your prophet Jack. I mean, that's the most Capricorn name ever. That's like and that's how you communicate, right?
Interesting.
So that is 7 degrees Capricorn. That's because of my new system too, by the way. Because Capricorns used to be previous. It's not different. So, anyways, here's something that doesn't change. I'm about to get to the fun ones.
Okay.
All right. So here's one that I think is really good, and I see this is a Mars in Virgo. Now, if you don't know, me and him work with each other, so I've seen a different side of Jack that I don't think that your viewers or even other podcasters get to see. Right? Really, you unraveled, right?
Yeah.
So your Mars in Virgo, and I even seen it when you're setting up the podcast, is you get a slight anxiety about doing everything perfect in the workplace. If you're starting to like do something accurate, you try to do like as unique as you can. You try to make sure all your ducks are in a row, everything's perfect, and try to focus on that. Perfectionism. Always striving to be better too. Always knowing that you did something slightly off, and you're always correcting it. And I admire that so much with Virgo. Shout out to all the Virgo ladies. I love y'all. But it's like Virgos are like so into. I have to say that because I have Virgo Venus. But anyways, like we'll get into that too. But your work ethic is striving for perfectionism, and always and sometimes a critic to others in the workplace too. So sometimes watch out for that. But when someone makes you angry, because Mars rules anger too. When someone makes you have the most strongest Mars sign to systematically break someone down. You could take them apart if you get angry enough and just every fine detail and just rip them in half. That's something that's a strength to Mars and Virgo.
Interesting.
And then back to something that we share. So Virgo doesn't change in my system because it also extends 7 degrees because Virgo is such a huge constellation.
Okay.
And then here's my favorite. I got this tattooed. We share this together. I got this right here.
What is it?
See it?
The 4 looking thing?
4 looking thing. It's Jupiter combined with Leo. So Jupiter and Leo is a very interesting sign, man. It means you got a personality. You have like a TV personality.
Finally.
It's the sign of fame.
Interesting.
It's in your 11th house of friends. So you may have famous friends. So basically Jupiter and Leo, I share that. It means that you've always known your whole life since a child, especially around 11 or 12, that, hey, I'm meant for more things. I'm meant for greater things. There's just something innate in you that just knows it. And that's a Jupiter and Leo. It gives you character. That's what old people used to call it. Oh, that kid's got some spunk. He's got some character to him. That's what a Jupiter and Leo is, verbatim, for sure.
That's so interesting.
And then
how do you know it was 11 or 12? Because that was like
you were within like probably it's probably pretty accurate within months. Here's the thing, I kind of get a bad rap at this being all the Leo that I am, but Leo is kind of the sign of an adolescent boy. Okay. So if you always hold on to and that's why we live forever, because like you hold on to the inner child, and you stick with that. Like there's so many people that were like big.
So because you start having these thoughts at 11 or 12, you're always gonna like have an attachment to like that person who started thinking that big, and like the world starts to shrink a little bit if you let it. So it's like, okay, I see what you're saying. That's why people go down that road.
Playboy Cardi.
Like, I mean, I like
always a boy.
It's good to know that, because I've also been somebody who always looks back at who I was and like taps into that person. Like when I was 18, first starting the business, like selling stuff for people on Facebook, it's like if I don't have that same energy now doing like LinkedIn consulting, I'm like, all right, I need to reassess what I'm doing. So it's very interesting. Like I'll go back and like find that guy when I need him.
But here's the thing as well. Like I said, how Pisces is your weakness,
Mhm.
your strength is your Jupiter. So your strength is creativity.
Mm.
And that's what Leo rules. It creates. The sun. It creates things. You're always creating. So as long as you keep creating, either content or whatever you're doing, is you're going to succeed, because that's your gift to this world, is your ability to create.
Interesting.
Now 2 more things. I just got 2 signs left to go through.
Yeah.
So here's where we get to the Venus sign. I mentioned Venus and Virgo, right? So your sign is in Venus in Aquarius. So if I know that you're hetero because I know you, so I don't ever make that assumption.
What's hetero?
Heterosexual, so I know you like females, right?
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
So your Venus sign, if you have that in your chart, if you swing that way, I always just put a discretion out there for the world. But there's a 26 degrees Venus sign. Venus sign is, if you're a guy, it's what type of women you like.
Okay.
So you like Aquarius type of girls. You like girls that are kind of dissociative a bit, and kind of like I hate to say dissociative, but like they're not in your feelings. They're kind of like and also that's how you love your friends. You have quirky, unique friends. You like quirky girls, kind of type of vibe. Also, girls that aren't like super in their feelings, super smart, engineering minds. Also, kind of rebels. Is you
said they're not like engineering minds?
No, they are engineers.
Oh, okay.
So you gotta be smart.
Gotcha.
That's the thing.
So they have to be intelligent.
Yeah, for sure.
Gotcha. Interesting.
And
But
then
they're
also kind of a rebel.
But they're also disassociative.
You think about the Aquarius is the opposite of Leo. So these are type of people, and this is how you love people too. Is you kind of just you don't love personally. You kind of just love objectively. If that makes sense, it's kind of like hands off, but you're there for people, but you're not like super cuddly and feely type of.
I'm never gonna you're right.
Romantic.
My empathy levels are minimal.
Yeah.
Like, and it's even
that's not true.
I mean, well, I guess I don't know. I don't know. Like you said, like if somebody's like really stressed out, I'll never be the type that lets it like my energy is not going to become stressed out because of it. Like, I don't know. I guess I'm really protective of that or something like that.
Also, when it comes to friends, you're a little bit more callous. When it comes to strangers, you're not. But you, with your friends, you're a little bit more like, you could just kind of, let's say, like the jokes you would make with a friend would kind of like pick on them a bit, but like kind of like objectively pick out things that like what other people would see from them.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, you only 17-minute song. Like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, or it'd be like, yeah, you know,
exactly.
Like, oh yeah, I'm not sure if someone noticed you. You're wearing a giant cape. Like,
because I think the reaction
that's an Aquarius thing.
It is funny. I think the reaction I'd see from people makes me laugh, and then so I'm just like, oh, bring it to the present.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's so interesting. Okay.
So the last thing is what I'm about to get to. It's the most important placement, and this is what the whole astrology system's named after.
Okay.
The whole system I made is called WYRD Astrology. WYRD. The app's called WYRD as well. Okay. WYRD. What that means is fate. What that is destiny. Let me say it one more time. WYRD. WYRD. Plugging that in so much. All right. So what your weird placement is in Aries. So your destiny in this life, and what used to be Rahu placements in Vedic for all of my Vedic friends, but your destiny in life is to pioneer, is to be independent, is to trailblaze, and also spread truth. You're all about spreading truth. You may have in your younger years, when you're younger, you're more diplomatic and hands off and want other people to do things. Your destiny is to do things with your own 2 hands, build it from the ground up, and to trailblaze and run over anybody that's fucking in your way. You got 3 different fire signs here. You got Aries, you got the Sagittarius, and you got a little Leo. You know, you got all the fire. You're here to burn the world down.